Hey everyone, what's up? This is H, and I'm here with Mike. Mike, what's going on?
What's up? What's up? Big Mike for Big Mike's Reviews.
And Kaya Day, what's going on?
Howdy, everyone.
And today we aren't going to talk movies. We are going to talk about a nice little device that I wouldn't necessarily say has divided the community. Either you like it or you don't. Otherwise, screw you. It's the Switch 2. The Switch 2 dropped about a week ago. I was fortunate enough to grab one, and I just kind of want to share my thoughts on it. But before I really get into that, I'm going to bounce around to my co-host here and get a little bit of their gaming experience. So, Kaide, I'll start with you. What's your gaming experience been like over the past few years? Because for what you're telling us, your tastes have changed. So, tell us about it.
I mean, I used to have a few of the consoles. Last console I had was the Xbox 360. So obviously, I am so behind the curve as far as other folks who are on their way to whatever Xbox One, Series S, X, whatever the fuck. Oh man, I'm cursing. But and then the last PlayStation I had was a PlayStation 2.
Ooh.
So
wow.
I ain't mad
I
at
gave
him.
up on PlayStation after the second one, but no, I've mostly just been doing PC gaming. Basically, whatever's come out recently. When they had that Friday the 13th game, that was a fun one to play for a little while for the brief amount of time when the servers were running, and then like a lot of indie games actually. I'm not the biggest AAA game player, mostly because I'm cheap. So popping $60 for a game is not really my jam. But every now and then Steam will have some really good deals.
Yeah.
So I think one game I was playing was Ruiner, which was like a top-down cyberpunk action game that was really cool. But other than that, I still need to play Control, and I think I got a bundle for, what was it, Hitman? I think that was probably about 2 games ago as far as Hitman is concerned. Okay. So I need to play that. Need to get back into GTA 5. Especially if we still got a whole ass year to wait for GTA 6.
Mm-hmm. 11 months now, sir. 11 months.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get around to Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages, since that first Doom reboot was fire.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I'm at. And again, like just a bunch of random indie games.
Yeah.
Or also Streets of Rage 4. That was another fun one.
Ooh, yeah.
Right. And I think right now, if you're playing on PC, you're not missing much. So it's like if you don't have a console at this point, the only thing you're kind of missing are just the exclusives. But if you're not, how they say, you didn't have it, did you really miss it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
When the Spider-Man one from the the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man game finally came to PC, I was all over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually my favorite game franchise.
Yeah.
And Mike, your gaming experience.
Yeah, so I mean, at the moment, I do a little bit of PC gaming, but mostly on my PS5. Mm-hmm. I've had every iteration of the PlayStation. Not really an Xbox guy, but I have like Xbox for my PC. So, and I do have an Xbox controller for my PC. So that's the only way I play like, I guess, Xbox games. Yeah. But yeah, I'm mostly, unlike Kaede, I am a AAA gamer. AAA games, I mostly enjoy single player adventure games, AAA style.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, because this is how I want to get tied onto a Switch, and it's kind of surprising. So as far as Nintendo is concerned, actually, I think I'll probably say that for last, because I've been on and off Nintendo stuff ever since the first one, but I'm gonna come to that in a second. But kind of the same like you, Mike. I feel like I've always been a PlayStation, with the newer generation of console, from PlayStation 1 on up. I've owned every iteration of the PlayStation, but because I feel like I'm gaming agnostic, it's like wherever I can get my game on, that's where I'm getting it on. It doesn't matter what system.
Yeah,
I did not get the first Xbox because I was like, I don't know. But when the 360 came around, I felt like the 360 was like this huge revolution. Like, oh my God, the graphics look great, but most of those games have aged so poorly.
Oh wow!
So I had a 360. I was really hesitant on getting the Xbox One. I think I got it just for the simple fact that when the one came out, because Microsoft has shot themselves so badly in the foot that year, trying to tell people, yeah, your system's always going to be on, it's always going to be connected, and they were selling poorly because GameStop that I got it from, it's like, look, we got to sell. They seriously had a stack. I said, I ain't got shit else better to do. I want to get an Xbox One.
Wow.
And then by the time the last two consoles came out, I grabbed those. I got the Series X because, I got the Series X first, primarily because of Game Pass.
Okay.
Because I found out how useful Game Pass was, and I said I'll circle back and get a PS5 later, and come to find out anyway, the PS5 was the harder of the two to get.
Yeah.
And then just within the last few years, kind of like Kade, I started migrating over to PC gaming because you have a little bit more freedom on how you can play your games there. As far as like modding, however you want to build your PC, things of that sort. So
also, Cyberpunk 2077 looks way better on PC than any console.
Anything.
And a lot of times the port will eventually come for most even exclusive games. They'll eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But the biggest thing is, with saying that too, a lot of that still is predicated on hardware.
True.
Oh, absolutely.
So last year I went out and because initially I was going to buy a gaming PC. And one of my friends said, well, no, if you already got enough stuff to get started, why don't you just build it? Because that's
what I did.
Right. Because what I was about to spend, I spent half of that, because half of what I spent on building my PC was the freaking video card.
Oh,
listen, I put together my PC in 2021, and this was when video cards were scarce.
I remember.
And I had to buy one refurbished for about $500.
Yeah. What card was that? Do you remember?
Oh God, I can't remember.
It was a GeForce though, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was probably the 2080 or the 3080.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
But that was the only thing. We were able to find everything else, and also because I do a lot of video editing with my PC as well.
Yeah.
I was going to be getting that in addition to also being able to do gaming. So I think all said and done, even with as expensive as my video card was, I think my whole package was like $1,300.
Okay.
That's actually, for a PC, for a gaming PC though, that's actually on the cheaper side.
Especially considering the fact that I also use it for video editing and production.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now, I have a lot of friends who solely PC game, and like they're spending at least $2,000, at least.
Oh, bump that noise!
But no, I mean they're building it, but they're
building it, but they got to be using top of the line.
Oh yeah, they're getting
they are maxing out the specs.
So remember, I'm like an IT guy, and I'm talking about like my other IT friends, and they're they're getting like I said, very least they're building
got a 4 terabyte SSD and 124 gigs of memory, and I got the 5090 ray tracing. Like, you're doing too much. But if you're going to
liquid cooling and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
much, you're good for the next decade for games.
Yeah.
But coming all the way back to it now, as far as Nintendo's concerned, Yeah, I've had the NES. I had the SNES. I fell off after that because once PlayStation and all that stuff came around, it's like I
You
felt like
want to
there
get
was
in on that new.
right,
Yeah.
like PlayStation. I mean, Nintendo had dominated for those few years, but then by the time you got the PlayStation, it's like, you can't, I can't. And then the bigger thing too with Nintendo, they weren't getting those same third party titles like
Right.
everybody else.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I did
So-
have the GameCube though. The GameCube was dope as far as the games that I got. For
I did
it.
not have it. I heard it was good.
Right.
I did buy a Wii, but that was when my kids were little. I bought
and
that
that's
for
the
them.
next
And
part.
I
was
did have
getting to.
I have a few Switch ones, but they were all for my kids. Like I never really played it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bought a Wii for my cousin not for my cousin, for my sister for Christmas, because she was the one who had gotten me the 360. Matter of fact, every console I've ever gotten has been a gift from one or both of my sisters.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yes, nice.
When the first PlayStation came out, my sisters got that for me for Christmas. When the GameCube came out, my sister had a friend who had a 5-finger discount.
It fell off a truck.
Yeah, it fell off. No, that's exactly what she told me is when that fell off a truck. And
didn't
for something that fell off the truck, that thing was a workhorse, and I never had any issues with it.
There you go.
Didn't get banged up too much.
No.
Yeah, but then after that, I think I really messed around with the handhelds. Like I had a DS for a hot second. One of my nephews, he had a game that he really liked playing. He was trying to get me into playing it, so I got a 3DS so we could do the Pokemon together.
Oh yeah.
But then when the Wii's came around, that was probably the first and only system that I know that Gina really wanted because the innovative factor of using the sticks for the motion.
Oh
So-
yeah.
So that's where we went. We got that. Matter of fact, funny thing, like this was like the first good time I remember scalping being an issue because the Wii's were in such short supply. And I remember when Gina really wanted to go get one, she called the Target up the street from my house. They had one then. She went up to go get one, and little Asian dude, because she showed me the picture of the guy, little Asian dude, beat her to it. He was walking out the store, had two of them. So they told her that
Damn.
if you go 5 miles up the road to this other Target off of 450, they have plenty of stock over there. So she hoofed it over there. She got one, and she says when she was coming out of the store, she saw the other dude heading in. So she was happy, and she still has it. It's still here. I took a chance. I ain't even going to front. I took a chance on the Wii U because I felt like before they came out with the Switch, Nintendo knew where they were going with it.
Yeah.
They just didn't know how to get there.
You know what? I did buy a Wii U for my kids as well. I did.
Because I like the ideas. Like, okay, if I plug in my console here, I can play it on the TV. But if I want
that's right.
part of the house, I could take the little tablet thingy with me.
That's
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I did get a Wii U for my kids. I do remember that now.
The problem was because it was Bluetooth, you could only go but so far.
Yeah.
Because-
Yes.
Because it was in my basement. So I couldn't go all the way upstairs in the bedroom and lay down and play it. It's like once you got a certain distance, that Bluetooth was spotty.
Yeah.
So I might have had it for like a hot second, took it back. But and then the sad part was to find out later on, third parties treated the Wii U almost the same way like they treated the Vita. It didn't really get a lot of support, so it died a slow, horrible death.
That was the thing too, because so both of my boys, we used to get oh my god, I think we had about 3 or 4 Vitas per boy because like we had to keep getting them. But luckily at like GameStop, because we were buying them at the same place, they would like swap them out. But like we had so many problems with the Vitas, man.
Yeah.
Like when they were working, they loved them, but like they would just stop working after a while.
No reason. Yeah.
Oh wait, the Vita was a PlayStation, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay,
was,
yeah, I remember when those came out.
I
Yeah,
spent so much. Like now, I'm thinking about it over like the past, like because all my kids are like grown now. But like
uh-huh.
thinking about it back then, like we spent so much money buying like all of these gaming systems. Like like the little Vitas and the little Wii U's and all that stuff.
All
Even the
that
Switch,
stuff.
yeah.
like
Yeah,
that's the stuff we all got for the kids that I really didn't play. I mean, we all played the Wii together, because that's kind of what it was. Like, you playing the
right.
Mario Party and all that kind of stuff. But like other than that, I didn't really get into it
Yeah.
that much.
Now the thing was, when the original Switch came out, I didn't really have any intentions on getting the Switch, but I got lucky and was passing through GameStop the week that it launched. They had two left in the store because you know how they were doing back then. You had to reserve it, and if you didn't get your reservation at a certain point in time, it was fair game.
Yep.
So I think like the
Hmm.
day of release, maybe 2 days after that, I happened to roll in, just happened to actually have any. They had one, I got it. But I can tell you honestly that out of everything that I have at present, that was probably my least played system. And
Oh
I don't
wow.
know why.
Hmm.
I don't know why. And it's not that it was bad because saying that, it'll almost make one think, well, why did you get a Switch too? I honestly couldn't tell you. But I will tell you this though, it was never a bad system. And Nintendo, of course, hit it out the park for a handheld. It's like, okay, we're going to do this handheld, and it just kind of changed how we look at gaming because all of a sudden you got the Steam bot. I mean, not Steam bot. You had
Steam
the
Deck.
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You have the Legion Go. You have and you have all these people say, well, hey, somehow Nintendo came up with this successful formula of console gaming, and we want to give that same experience. And the thing was, we were wondering, like, okay, are we getting a watered down experience of games? Because some of the early games like your Witchers and other things that were being ported over,
Yeah.
they were kind of run down, but it was still on a console.
Right.
No, you're not getting a watered down handheld version. This is your console. This
Right.
is your thing.
But also,
So
it's what Switch was marketed for. It is
right,
mostly marketed for kids or for nostalgia.
Yeah.
right. That's been my thing. So that's why when they decided to come out with the Switch 2, I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna check it out. I think I'm gonna check it out because we also know that if Nintendo's not innovating, they're improving on their devices.
Right.
If they find something different to do with it. So basically, when I saw the announcement, because we all kind of knew that Nintendo was going to do another handheld. Nintendo has said effort to coming out full blown console that just
They don't need
sits at
to.
home. They are dedicated to doing handhelds. So we all know what happened with the pre-orders with all the tariffs and all this foolishness running around. We know that
Mhm.
was going to get screwy. So I went on ahead and pre-ordered because I still look at it like this. I knew eventually I would want to get one, but with all this uncertainty, I'd rather get it at the price point to have it now than say if the tariffs really do kick in and a couple of years down the line, I'm looking at $600. No,
Yeah.
no way.
Very smart. Very smart.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I'm paying that much
No.
for a console. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, like whatever the next consoles they drop, I'm still playing most of my stuff on PC.
Yeah.
So the thing was when everything came to the point of release last week, my experience was this.
Oh no.
I'm one of those that if I know I'm getting a thing, I'm going to put aside. I'm going to do. If I can't afford to get it, I'm not going to get it.
Right.
But if I'm going to get it, I'm going to put aside the necessary funds so that way I can. Because what I wound up doing, I went on ahead, paid it off on Sunday, and then when Wednesday came along, for those of you that have done midnight releases, because they was like, oh yeah, we're doing a midnight release. I hate midnight releases,
Yeah.
especially in the middle of the week. I'm like, I got to
Oh
get up the
yeah.
next morning.
Yeah. No. What the, mm-mm.
Because what was crazy was
Like me, I work like 6 to 2, man.
Man,
It's hard.
look, when the Xbox Series X came out, for me, the smartest thing they could have did was like, we're opening at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, I could kind of mess with that.
Yeah.
Because I could go drop my thing off and still go to work and still have gotten a good night's worth of sleep.
Yeah.
Now, you got to come in do a pre-ring, meaning take care whatever you got to take care of, like either pay it off, do whatever. Then you get a receipt because at least when you come back to pick it up at midnight, they just hand you your bag, keep it pushing.
Right.
So I took care of all that Wednesday night. And matter of fact, the funny thing was because I had done it so early, I was also doubly fortunate in being number one. So I was like, well, what time I got to come back up? They was like, well, come back up whenever you're ready. We're gonna reopen it at midnight. I said, well, you know what? If I'm number one, I'm coming back up here about 11:50, 11:55.
Exactly. You cut the line. You already got your receipt.
Yeah, because when I came back up, and that's exactly what I did. I got back up there about 11:55. I just walked up to the front of the line. I didn't get in the line. I just kind of stood off to the side because I was waiting for the guy to come out the door to start organizing the line. So, and let me tell you, there were a lot of people that was kind of in that same boat. They either pre-ordered, but the majority of the people that were in that line were people that was hoping they could get whatever was in stock.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of them were looking at me funny because here comes this 6'4" dude, you know, with this Ravens jersey, you know, just walk to the front of the line like it wasn't nothing. Now I'm still trying to be partly respectful, stand off to the side because this one guy was talking and he started eyeballing me. He's like, "You up here for the Switch 2?" I was like, "Yeah." "What number are you?" One.
And nothing to say.
And nothing to say. Matter of fact, I think I sent y'all the selfie I took when I was in line because it was a dude behind me. I didn't know when my friends pointed out was me mugging me.
Yeah, he was.
Oh no.
So went, got it, got home. You know, in one of the groups I was in, I was like, you know, the obligatory, yeah, I got my Switch. I'm going to sleep post. When I got up the next morning, somebody like, well, why would you go to sleep? Because I did take off. But I was like, it's not going nowhere. Because I know a lot of people probably stayed up that night and hooked it up and played it after. I said, first of all, y'all probably done bogged down all the service. So even if I wanted to play or do any updates, I probably couldn't get on. But most of all, it's not going anywhere.
Nah.
I just wanted to make sure I got it in the house. Because you know how people are.
Oh yeah.
Man. So it was a breeze to hook up. You know, as thankfully most consoles are. That, you know, they don't take a lot of effort to link up.
Very user friendly, or should be.
Yeah, moved everything over. I think within the hour, I was off and playing.
Okay.
And the biggest thing that I took from this, because you know, there's a very vocal minority that are just angry, like, well, you got an underpowered system. Well, my Steam Deck can do this, and my ROG Ally can do that, and everything. Why would you get a system to play one game? Not realizing, yeah, Mario Kart World might be the game, but there's several other titles out there that, you know, there's enough variety that if people wanted to play, they could play.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, though. The biggest thing is they don't have a lot of first-party releases at launch. Mario Kart is the game.
Yeah.
However, one of the things that they're trying to tout with the Switch 2 is those third-party titles. Because Cyberpunk's available, Hitman's available, Star Wars is going to be available later this year. There are a lot of titles that they've taken and they're trying to show, hey, we're going to be trying to get those games too. So, like, you know, if whatever, like I got it on tip of my tongue and I can't remember, but they're trying to get back to a place where, you know, not only we're going to give you Nintendo games, but if there's some third-party games that you want to get, we're going to try to make them available.
Right.
Okay.
And I had fun. That I think that was the main thing I took away from the first couple of days that I played. It's like, this is fun. And
that's what it's all about.
Huh?
That's what it's all about.
This is what it should be.
Yeah. I mean, who cares if someone else doesn't like what you purchased for yourself for your own enjoyment? That's for your own enjoyment. And if you get enjoyment out of it, then you got your money's worth.
Right. Because Mario Kart World, I could tell you, is a blast. And I was really intrigued with the tournament mode, which is the mode where they get 24 racers, and ever so often you have to pass a checkpoint to stay in the race. That is just chaotic fun.
Yeah, diabolical.
Look, ain't nothing that says fun like watching someone who led the whole race. Because there was this one particular race I was in. I did not make the last cut, but I decided to watch the rest of it anyway. There was this one person, he was in the lead like from the jump. And as soon as the finish line was in sight, Blue Shell, third place.
Oh no!
Oh my god, man! I know he was mad. Had to be mad.
Like just the whole race just dominating. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I said
Yeah.
somebody got lucky and somebody timed that right.
Yeah,
Mm,
they did that on purpose.
yeah.
But what the Switch 2 has done for me is all those games that I had that I halfway played on my Switch. All of a sudden, I've been popping them back in. Hey,
Oh, okay.
Super Mario Odyssey, been playing that. Super Mario RPG, I've been wanting to play that for a minute. I picked it up and playing that, and like I just don't understand where all this hate is coming from. Well, I know where it's coming from, but it's stupid. But I just don't understand like why can't we have nice things? Why can't people be happy for other people?
Yeah, I don't get it. If it has nothing to do with you, why do you care?
Yeah, you know. And the crazy part is this, being at this time of the year is when we have the summer game fest and all that stuff. When we start finding out about new releases, also formerly known as E3,
Yeah.
people weren't even through hating on the Switch 2 when Asus and Xbox announced that they're going to come out with the RG Ally X box or whatever it's called, which is basically another portable handheld that's going to allow you to play Xbox games. And people are already hating on that. It's like we don't even know the specs of the thing yet.
Right.
Like we know like what some of the hardware is going to be, but like that's all we got. Well, it's not going to be this powerful. It's going to do this. It's only going to do that. Like y'all are exhausted.
Right. Who cares? People like that are just miserable to begin with. Like their lives are they're just miserable people.
Yeah. Because my thing is this. It's like I consider myself fortunate and lucky to be able to get some of the stuff that I can get, because years ago it was like, because Mike, we kind of talked about it when we were much younger, and especially when our parents were doing stuff. It's, hey, look, let me talk to my cousin or my brother or whomever else I got around. Look, if I get this one, you get the opposite, so that way we can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That's what my cousin and I did growing up. We would always get the opposite, consoles, so we could all play this, the different consoles.
And that's kind of how it went, because like I was telling you, in my neighborhood, if one person had the Atari, somebody else had the ColecoVision, somebody else had the Intellivision, somebody else had whatever. It just kind of went around. And whatever that game was at the moment, that's where we will all go play.
Exactly.
That's
how it was in my neighborhood too.
But I'm at a point now. Hey, if I could wing it, I'm getting a little bit of everything.
Right.
And I felt like with this, I would dare say, yeah, the price was a little bit up there, but this is just kind of like the world that we live in now.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast.
But I felt like this was worth it. This was worth it. Like I said, Mario Kart is fun. Some of those older games that I've neglected, I picked back up. They're actually fun to play, because I think, here's the problem. The problem is with this little loud vocal minority, they thoroughly believe that, oh, well, why should I get a Switch when I can emulate it? And the first thing I say is, who wants to go through all that work? Not everybody wants to go through all that work of doing all of the things that you have to do
Yeah.
to not exactly legally play Switch games on another device.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to go do it, knock it out. Go right on ahead. I want the ease of just picking up a thing, turning it on. My game is there, playing.
100%.
It's my time to game.
Yeah.
And if my time to game means I got to take 15 minutes out to install a thing, jailbreak it, do all that, no, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. That's not fun at all. And the thing of it is, I do look at it, for people that are big Nintendo fans. Well, guess what? Nintendo's probably the last exclusive system on the block. You're not playing Mario anywhere else.
No.
And by extension, you're not playing Sonic anywhere else.
No.
Because if you guys have noticed, and especially Kaede, since you're the big PC guy, what did you just say? You just recently picked up Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. Spider-Man
was probably the biggest exclusive on PlayStation.
It was.
And Sony has been holding on to that license as tight as they could. You're not playing Spider-Man anywhere else. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe if we let it go over to PC, we'll get some more people in.
Mm-hmm.
God of War, you're not playing. Maybe we'll let that go to PC too.
Mm-hmm.
These big. It's like a thing of how good is exclusivity now that you have to barricade all of your games, and I think that's still kind of what Nintendo proves. And the thing that really gets me is for the people that have this thing of, well, this system has to be all powerful. When Nintendo keeps proving time after time, love them or hate them, they don't need to have the most powerful hardware out there.
No.
For people to enjoy their systems. The Wii, the Nintendo Wii is like what? One of the second best, no, it was the best selling gaming console of that generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underpowered. It did not have a lot of third-party games.
Right.
You was not going to play the latest version of Call of Duty on it, but guess what? It outsold everybody. The original Switch is the second best-selling console of all time behind the PS2.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, y'all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So before I wrap this up, guys, got questions, thoughts, anything you want to know? Is it worth picking up?
Man, I think you hit all the good points, man.
Yep.
That is pretty much it. I will say it's worth it if you want one. If you feel like you want to wait, do so. But I would dare say don't miss it. Don't miss it. It's fun, and like I said, Mike, when we had talked last week, I think that was one of the things I missed doing with playing on a console is just simply having fun. Did I laugh like a kid? Yes, I did for 2 hours on that game. on Mario Kart, and I can't remember the last time that it was just fun. Was I worried about graphics? Was I worried about FPSs? Was I worried about the? No, I just had fun.
There you go. That's what it's about.
Yep. So we're going to wrap this up. We want to thank everybody for coming out. And if you want to see who we are, just check down in the description. And one thing I've been getting to tell everybody to do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check us out so that way we can see that you all are still watching.
Exactly.
And we want to thank you again. So we got some other stuff coming up, and we'll be back around next time.
Stay tuned.